Good morning and welcome to another edition of Immigration Nation. My name is Nicole Whitaker. I am the principal immigration attorney of Whitaker Legal LLC, an immigration firm based in Towson, Maryland. And although we're based in Towson, Maryland, we represent clients all over the United States. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about three stories, three exciting success stories we've had recently. We've had a lot of cases where our clients have finally received their work permits and their green cards, and a few cases where clients have finally received their U.S. citizenship. But I've narrowed the list down to three exciting stories to tell you guys about today. Just a reminder that if you'd like to schedule your consultation with me, the number to call is 410-207-9272. You'll talk to a member of my team who will get some details about you, some details about your case, and we'll see if there's a way that we can help you change your life, get your American dream here in the U.S., and help support your family. So let me jump in with the first story. So the first story is related to one of our clients from Honduras. In Honduras, there's a lot of gang violence, and she was living with one of her parents in Honduras, but she became the target of gangs. And one particular gang member wanted to make her his girlfriend, and the gang started stalking her, harassing her. She knew she had to get out of there before the gang forced her to join them and become this gang member's girlfriend. So her parent in Honduras sent her to her other parent who lives in the United States, specifically here in Maryland. And based on her story, because it's in her best interest to remain in the US, and because her other parent essentially abandoned her by sending her to live in the United States with no plans to reunify with her in the future, we were able to secure for her the Visa Juvenil, or Special Immigrant Juvenile Status, which is for children or minors under 21 of any country who have been neglected, abandoned, or abused by one or both parents. Now, it depends on what state you live in, whether you can apply after the child turns 18, but for all the states in the US, you can apply so long as you meet the state court requirements if the child is under 18. Specifically here in Baltimore County and Baltimore City and in the entire state of Maryland, you can apply up to when the child turns 21. So we have many clients. Most of them are from Central America, Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala, but we have children from all over, some children from Mexico, South America, Africa, who came to the US and either one of their parents or both of their parents neglected or abandoned them here in the US or before they even arrived in the US. So that's pretty exciting. So for this young woman, she has her Visa Juvenil, she has her Special Immigrant Juvenile Status. We're going to use that to win her case in immigration court and get her her green card so she can change her family tree and live her American dream here in the US. So that was the first story of one of our immigration success stories this week. I'm telling you guys a little bit about these stories in the hopes that maybe one of these stories will resonate with you. Maybe they have a story similar to yours, or you have a friend or family member with a similar story, and they could benefit from this information because they might be eligible for one of these immigration programs. So I just told you a little bit about a case where we got Special Immigrant Juvenile Status for a young woman. Another case that we're really proud of in our office is for a gentleman from Mexico who received his T visa this week. This gentleman was a part of a family who for years, this farmer in the United States sent for members of this family from Mexico to come and work for him. The farmer did not provide any legal status for these employees. He asked them to come illegally crossing the border, and this farmer essentially trafficked this family. He recruited them and then forced them to continue working for him under threat of physical intimidation, under threat of not only violence, but the threat that they would be reported to immigration, the threat that members of the community would find out that they were illegal and they would be deported. This farmer made our client feel like he was trapped on the farm. It was a rural farm, and without transportation, he was stuck on that farm. He had no other opportunities for work, and even if he did, this farmer made him afraid of talking to anyone else, reaching out to anyone else. The farmer made him feel like if he were to quit or go to work somewhere else, he would be retaliated against. He worked there for decades, and eventually he was able to escape and left the farm after he found a wife here in the US. But because, although his wife is a US citizen, he entered the US illegally. And for someone that enters the US illegally, even if they have a US citizen spouse, it can be very difficult, if not impossible, to get legal status. And so we screened this gentleman for all different kinds of immigration relief, and we started asking questions about his former employment, and we found out about this farm. And he said, "Why are you asking these questions? No lawyer has ever asked me these questions before. I've gone to other immigration lawyers." And after I got some more information, I explained the T visa program to him, and he decided to hire us to represent him in this case. And in less than 2 years, this gentleman has now a work permit. And after a certain period of time, he'll be able to apply for his green card since he's received this approval through the T visa. So if you or a family member or friend have ever worked for someone here in the US, maybe it was the owner of a company, a boss, a supervisor, who forced you to continue working. Maybe they forced you with physical intimidation, threats to ruin your reputation, threats to have you deported or report you to ICE, and you kept working because you felt like you would be harmed or retaliated against or in trouble if you quit. If you were in a situation like that, it happens all the time, unfortunately, to undocumented people in the US. Employers just try to take advantage of people in vulnerable positions. You could be eligible for the T visa. It's not a temporary visa like a tourist visa or a student visa. It's actually a way to get a permanent status in the US, either a work permit or maybe even a green card. So, again, if that is your situation or the situation of someone you know, give us a call, 410-207-9272 to schedule your consultation directly with me. All the consultations in my office come directly to me. So when you call us, you'll talk to a member of my team. They'll learn a little bit about your case and a little bit about you. They'll let you know if they think that it's something that we might be able to help you with. Then you'll be scheduled for a call with our client intake specialist, who will get even more information. And then finally, you'll have your appointment with me, either by phone or video call, where we can talk just like this. I'll get to know a little bit about you, your case. I'll tell you how we can help you and answer any questions you have. So if you have an immigration case, maybe you want to see if you're eligible for a work permit or a green card. Maybe you already have your green card and you want to apply for US citizenship. Or maybe you are a green card holder or US citizen and you want to apply for status for a family member. Give us a call, 410-207-9272. All right, let me tell you about our last immigration success story. It's not the last one for the week, but it's the last one I have time to tell you about. So there is a way that we help immigrants that are married to, separated from, or recently divorced from US citizens or green card holders. A lot of people think that if you are married to someone with legal status, you have to stay married or at least stay in that relationship in order to get your papers, to get your work permit or your green card. And because of that, a lot of people stay in toxic or abusive relationships. But that is not necessary because there is a way that you can petition for a work permit or maybe even a green card on your own without your spouse's help if you are in a toxic or abusive relationship. So one of our clients, he came to us because he wanted to get some kind of legal status. He was married to a US citizen, but she refused to help him get his papers, or she always promised that she would help, but then refused at the last second, or always had an excuse as to why she wasn't going to get him his papers. In particular, she had a substance abuse problem. She had a problem with drugs and alcohol, and she also had a mental illness. And that created a lot of instability in his life. Because of those issues that she faced, she treated him very poorly. She would call him names. She would make fun of him for being an immigrant. She would say things like, if you ever leave me, you'll never find anyone else. No one will ever love you because you're illegal. They had children together, and she used the children against him. I'm sure that many times in their fights, he threatened to leave, and she said, if you leave, I'm going to get custody of the kids. I'm going to get the house. I'm going to get everything because I'm the US citizen and you're not. She used her position as the US citizen in the relationship to gain power and control over him. So again, this client, I was talking to him, I asked him questions about his spouse. And in our conversation, I found out everything that he'd been experiencing and explained that he might be eligible for this way to get his work permit and green card on his own without his spouse's help. And his first question was, well, I still live with her. Do I have to leave her? Because I don't want to leave my kids. She says if I leave, she's going to get custody. It's going to be a whole court battle, and I don't want to leave my wife. I want to stay with her, and I want to stay with my kids. And I said, good news. This program does not require you to leave your spouse. You can apply if you're married to and still living with your spouse. But you can also apply if you're still legally married to but separated from your spouse, or even if you've been divorced within the past 2 years from your spouse. So I explained to him that he can apply, he's eligible to apply, and the process is totally confidential. It's between him and the Immigration Service. No one was going to interview his wife. No one's going to contact his wife. My office is very careful to make sure that everything is kept confidential, and no one from my office would ever reach out to his wife. And we make very certain to keep the process private so that it doesn't cause more problems between him and his wife. He was also concerned whether it would get his wife in trouble if he filed this type of case. And I explained, no, generally this type of process does not cause problems for the US citizen or green card holding spouse because, again, it's confidential between you and the Immigration Service. So very unlikely it would cause any problems for your US citizen spouse. And I explained that throughout the process, once we file, it doesn't matter whether you stay living with your spouse, whether you separate from your spouse, or whether you choose to get a divorce. That's entirely your option between you and your spouse. But what matters for our purposes is what has happened in the past. So we filed that case a couple years ago now. Everything with immigration takes time. But he got his work permit. He got his travel authorization to go visit his family back in Mexico he hadn't seen in something like 17 years. And then finally, he is on track. His green card application was approved and his green card is coming in the mail. So that was an exciting success story. We're happy for him. We're happy for his family. He's super excited because he has 2 US citizen children and he's going to be able to better provide for them now that he is a green card holder. And in about 3 years, he's going to be eligible to apply for US citizenship. So again, thanks for listening in. Those were my 3 immigration success stories to share with you today. If you'd like to be our next immigration success story, give us a call at 410-207-9272 to schedule your consultation with me. I'd love to see if there's any way we can help you get your work permit, your green card, your US citizenship, or help you apply for papers for one of your family members. See you guys next time.